So glad you're here. Let's start.
Well, hello. It's Julie Halston. This is Virtual Halston, Season 2, Episode 19. Where is the time going? It's unbelievable. It's 82 degrees in New York City right now. That's crazy. And I'm in a beaded jacket in my home. That's what I do. Anyway, we're so excited that you're here, and I'm so excited that we have Lucy Arnaz as our guest. We just did a sound check with her. Oh my gosh, she looks so beautiful. I mean, she's legendary, so it's very exciting that she's going to be on the show. And that's it for one thing. A second thing is I just saw Margaret Cho, our friend and colleague, who have been on Virtual Halston, and she is very involved with the Stop Asian Hate campaign, which, it's pathetic that we even have to have a Stop Asian Hate campaign. But I just wanted to send out love and kudos and accolades to Margaret for all the work she does, not only in the Asian community and the entertainment community, but for all human rights. So bravo, Margaret. And we have a lot to discuss because it's almost the 1-year anniversary of Pajama Cast Party. So I'm going to bring in my partner in crime and the incredible producer and my friend, Jim Caruso. Jim Caruso, come in. Hello. Hello, darling.
Oh, what are you doing here?
Oh, hello. Yeah, what am I doing here? It's 82 degrees, darling. And look, I'm in like a beaded jacket. It's a little crazy.
It's hot. I live on the Upper West Side where it's also 82 degrees. It's very warm.
It's very warm. I'm not quite ready for that, but okay.
I know.
We'll take it.
Listen, what, we're going to complain about that?
Exactly.
There's so much to complain about.
Exactly. No, it's ridiculous. Now, darling, we have a lot to discuss because you really are having a 1-year anniversary, are you not?
Oh, we are. Pajama Cast Party this coming Monday. And we'll bring Ruby out to explain a little bit. But it is our 1-year anniversary. If you would have told me, look at that great artwork by our friend Squiggs.
Yes.
Justin Squiggs Robertson.
Yes.
Look,
yes.
That's Ruby saying, shh, they're surprise guests. She'll tell you about that. And I'm wearing a mask over my eyes. If you would have told me we were going to do 51 of these in a row, I mean, it's like this show. It's like Virtual Halston. Can you believe?
No.
Doing this? I know.
No.
But it's kept us sane, and it's kept us happy and thinking and talking to our friends. And
it's been so fantastic. I mean, I've talked about it many times. I turned you down 3 times. You kept saying, Julie, you should do this. Julie, you should do this. No, I want to sleep. I want to be depressed and pandemic, whatever. And you kept saying, no, you're going to do it. And then, of course, you told me about Ruby Lochner. Now, maybe we should bring Ruby on because we want to talk about...
I think it is time. Should we do the magic Ruby call that we do?
Well, it's really you and Ruby.
Oh, Ruby.
Oh, Ruby.
Oh, Jim. Oh, Julie. Here I am.
It's like Romper Room. I see Julie and Ruby.
It's true.
It's also like a bird call. Like I should just kind of come like flying in like, ah, here I am. Like,
I like it. Ruby, tell the people and Julie, because she might not know all the real the dirt about it. Monday's show, Pajama Cast Party, 1-year anniversary. Go.
Well, okay. Well, what I can tell you is I can't tell you anything, people, because for the 1-year show, I booked the lineup and Jim has no idea who's coming on the show. He has no idea the madness and the fun that will ensue. And we're going to co-host together.
Except I don't know who's on it, so I can't do any research.
Nope.
I can't. I mean, I'll be Googling like crazy as I'm looking at them, no doubt. Maybe I'll know them. If it's Cher, I'll know everything I need to know. If it's an Osmond, I'll know everything I need to know.
And
if
what I keep telling
almost anybody else, I'm screwed.
Well, what I keep telling Jim is he keeps saying, is it Cher? I know it's Cher. And I just keep telling him it's Cher. And by Cher, it's going to be my boyfriend in a wig just walking behind me every now and then. Just
a lot of things to unpack there.
Yeah, just to give it a little bit of spice.
It's going to be fun.
I'm so excited. I've been putting the finishing touches on it all. I'm actually, Jim, you'll be very proud. I'm done with everything for the show. I have nothing left to do. Emails have been sent. Media is completed. I had a very, very nice article written about me on Broadway World that went live a few days ago, all about the one-year show and just also other projects that I'm working on. So that's done. It's been an exciting week, and I cannot wait for Monday.
I have to ask you a question, Ruby, because now that you're a superstar, every time I see you, well, I know you're on TikTok and Reels and something else, Clubhouse, of course. But every time I see you, like an article about you, you have like a new photo or whatever. Who's taking all these photos?
So some of those are a little older. Some of them are new though. But since I hate calling it this, but as a content creator, you always need new content.
Yes.
So honestly, sometimes it's me. I have professional cameras just because it's part of what I do. But also I have a wonderful friend who took the picture that's in the most recent Broadway World article that was taken about a year ago, I think, like right before the pandemic. Her name's Maria, and she takes the most gorgeous photos. And so before the pandemic, we would just go out. I'd bring a tote bag with me of like 4 different outfits. I would change like in the middle of Central Park, like put my skirt on over my pants and switch my top, and we just shoot a ton at once. And so, yeah.
Well, they're beautiful. They're absolutely beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, I think my editorial and resume photos are probably from 1980.
Well, what's
that
amazing
is not true.
No, it's not. And you take gorgeous photos, Julie. But what's honestly amazing, and I tell people this all the time, is like this little guy right here can produce beautiful images that one would think is done on a giant DSLR camera. I mean, I had a friend
Let's take one now.
Oh, right now? Okay. I have a friend who just...
Everybody at home, pose.
Ready? There we go.
Okay.
I have a friend who just did her headshots on her iPhone 12. It's really amazing.
Wow. Well,
amazing.
That's going to be the new thing. That'll be the new thing. I'm so old. I know some of my viewers don't like it when I talk about that. But do you remember, Jim, maybe you remember too, when resume photos only were 8x10 black and whites?
Of course.
Yes.
And you had to have them printed and get them by the stacks and stuff.
Yes.
I mean, my stacks would last literally, I think, 12 years because I had like one audition a decade. But it's very popular.
Yeah.
Oh, and then to throw them out is truly depressing. Like,
No, it was very sad.
Oh.
It was very, very sad.
Well, we're excited about Monday.
We're excited, and I want to ask you guys, because it is such a phenomenon and a popular show. Jim, do you have a favorite memory?
A
from
pajama cast party? I mean, there are so many that come to mind, but I guess the one that now is the most bittersweet, which was the funniest, was when the lovely, the gorgeous, the talented Mary Wilson did Pajama Cast Party.
Oh.
And she came on and was so delightful, but her audio went out. So she couldn't hear us, but we could hear her. So somehow through sign language and Ruby texting, she figured out that we could hear her. So she ended up interviewing herself because she'd been interviewed so many times. So she was like, well, Mary, so how did you become a Supreme? Well, Mary, I mean, it was hilarious. She totally went with it. She taught us to do the Stop in the Name of Love choreography, all of that with no sound. And then all of a sudden...
Eventually we got sound and we all laughed because we figured out that she had hit her mute button on her computer.
Of course. But yeah, I mean, and then she sang her head off. She sang Here's to Life.
Oh.
And then, months later, she died in her sleep. Yeah. And I mean, that's such a sweet memory that she was such a delightful and game guest. It was like, I don't need sound. I'm going to have fun anyway. And she was, I mean, that's a really great memory for me.
And it's also, she really is a true legend. I mean, this is a legend. So, you know, that's fantastic. And Ruby, do you have a favorite memory?
I do. And for the longest time, I couldn't talk about this because every time I would start laughing so hard that I would just start like crying. When Jim, if you can see, Jim currently has some headphones in to avoid any sort of echo. At first, he had AirPods, which are the wireless version. And he was still kind of learning how to use his AirPods.
Well,
and
because I'm 100.
Well, no, but to be fair, AirPods can give some trouble. And basically, it couldn't have been more perfect. Jim was talking about Kate Thompson because it would have been her birthday one week. And as he was talking about Kate Thompson, he double tapped his AirPods, which will make music play. And a Kate Thompson song started playing through his AirPods. Now, he thought, in my technical genius mind, I cued that to happen and everybody could hear the Kate Thompson song. But it was only Jim. He was dancing in silence. I thought, and I'm not even being funny, my boyfriend was sitting next to me and I said, is he okay? Like I thought he had lost his mind. And just so that everyone can experience this with me, I have a clip. Jim, I'm so
let's see it.
I'm so sorry I had to.
Yes, let's see it.
Okay. So just remember he was talking about Kate Thompson.
She was extraordinary. She wrote What's happening?
Jim, what is going on?
What's happening?
You tell me. I don't hear anything other than you dancing in silence.
Wait. Do you know what? It was so cute. It was, it was, but it was also like, wait. You suddenly became a little bit like a puppet. Like there was something.
Well, it's interesting that even with music, that would have looked horrible. So that's nice to know.
My favorite, people are dying right now. My favorite, my mother and I still quote it because it just makes us giggle, is when Jim just goes, "What's happening?" Like,
I mean, and then it was like Jim Caruso, Dancing in Silence. That's my next album.
Well, and also sort of flirting with the camera.
Thinking I'm so cute and funny and just looking pathetic.
I can't express to you, and I'm sure she's watching, so hello, Mom, or for those who don't know, hello, Victoria Shaw. We laughed about that for weeks, and it brings me so much joy, and that, hands down, is my favorite Pajama Cast party memory.
Well, listen, we may have to watch it again on Monday. We may have to watch it again on Monday. Well, now, Ruby, you are, you're a superstar. You really have become a superstar. We've been saying it for the past year, but now, articles are being written. You're ensconced in your new apartment. Yes, what's happening, Billy Spitzett? Yes, what's happening? What's happening is, play it again. Oh, they want, well, play it again. Should we play it again?
Oh, God.
One more time. Again? Yeah, one more time. Okay.
She was extraordinary. She wrote, what's happening?
Jim, what is going on?
What's happening?
You tell me. I don't hear anything other than you dancing in silence.
No, it's priceless.
It's priceless. When I actually tap the headphones, and you see, I mean, now looking back, okay, enough of that.
And I just want to say too, our guest backstage is currently cracking up at that clip as well. So it brings laughter and joy to everybody.
It does.
This is so wonderful. This is wonderful. Ruby, Julie Carnier. Hello, Julie. Hello, darling. She's crying. Darling, you're taking over the world. You're gorgeous. You're wonderful. Bye, Ruby.
Bye.
Yikes. No, that is fantastic. That was fabulous. Jim, can we just say once again, why do we do this? Why? What's happening? Why do we do this? We do this because we want to see Julie Gagne crying with laughter. We want to hear Billy Stritch going, what's happening? We do this because we want to entertain you. There it is, PayPal, Venmo. If you have it in your heart or your purse, no donation too small or too large. We always say, and in fact, I just gave a check today to the Pulmonary Fibrosis Foundation. A portion of all our shows does go to the PFF, and we're so, so grateful. Our viewers, your viewers, Jim, so generous and so loyal, and I can't tell you, it just warms my heart. So if you have it in your heart or purse, please feel free to tip us. And I think we should bring on our guest.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay, you know her a lot better than I do.
Yes, so I'm going to stick around. I'm going to stick around a little bit.
You're going to stick around because you're a good friend.
Anytime Lucy's in the room, you want to be there.
You want to be there. I remember meeting her because I love to drop names. I remember meeting her at Liza Minnelli's, and she was there with her wonderful, incredible husband, Lawrence Luckenbill, the wonderful actor. And she was so delightful and so beautiful and just she's just fabulous. But you, I think, met her before that. And
oh yeah, we go back.
You go back. I think there's a picture of you with her.
Yeah, I think this is 2000 and no. When is this? Pull that up, Ruby.
Look at you.
I mean, that's 20 years ago.
Wow.
That's 18 or 20 years ago. First of all, we look so good, Lucy. I mean, that's an act.
First of all, you both look 14.
Well, we were. Let's bring her out.
Let's bring her on. She's theater royalty. She's Hollywood royalty. She's an Emmy Award-winning producer. You've seen her in a million TV shows. You might have seen her also in her million cabaret shows. She's a legend. Lucy Arnaz, get in here. Yay!
Oh my God, I'm still laughing.
Isn't that unbelievable?
That was a lovely introduction, but Jimmy, I just got to say, it's the moment when you go, like, oh, she's here. Oh,
I know.
God,
it was kind of spooky.
I love that it was Kay Thompson.
Oh,
really?
It's
Kay
like
Thompson.
perfect. Who Lucy knew.
Yeah.
Well, barely, but yes.
Well, but
yeah.
we're around for some of that.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now
I'm so happy to be here. This is fun. Thank you.
Oh, no, it's so great. And
we're out of time now. Thank you. Good night, everybody.
You look fantastic. It's 82 degrees in New York. It's what, 70?
It's a lovely 72 here in Palm Springs, California.
All right. Now, darling, what have you and Larry been doing? Have you been doing anything in Palm Springs? I mean, what's it like? Are people wearing masks? What's going on?
Oh, yeah. It's over a year now since everything shut down, as you were saying. And all my concerts that I was just about to go out and do a solid sold out set of 9 different concerts. First time ever, like sold out. Nothing. So in the beginning, obviously we've been just incredibly vigilant, and everybody down here, for the most part, I mean, I don't stay up all night and roam the streets looking for people without masks, but for the most part, Palm Springs people are they're pretty savvy and smart. And unless you go too far east where there's a whole lot of Republicans and they don't understand anything. That's
right. And don't want to.
Yeah, no, there's people on the fancy schmancy part of Palm Springs. I just found this out the other day. That there's a whole year, and I've been thinking, aren't we doing a great job? We're all wearing our masks. I was making masks for people in the beginning, with a big group of people. And apparently there's a whole group of people like in the El Paseo area in Palm Springs, which is sort of the Rodeo Drive of Palm Springs, where those fancy schmancy restaurants stayed open indoors, and people have been going and packing the place, and they know, they don't care. They go, let them come and get me. And even some of the cops are eating in there. I didn't know that until just I want their names, these people, because we were talking about, doing some benefits for some of the clubs and the restaurants that have gone under or are about to go under here because of this COVID, and getting a lot of those sort of wealthy people on the other side of the tracks to come in and help us, sustain this entertainment industry here. And I got so mad when I heard that. I said, I'm not even going to entertain those people. I don't want to entertain them.
Of course not.
Who are you? Are you kidding me? Like, we could have been through this a lot sooner if it's not for people who think that it's not about them. It's all about them and it's not about anybody else. And
exactly.
So
what I find so mind-boggling is, the statistic over 500,000 people died.
Yeah.
Does that mean anything to you? Apparently not.
And it's not like, well, they said, oh, I got my shots. We got our shots first. Of course you did, because you're wealthy and you paid for some, you gave a donation and the hospital gave you all your shots, whatever. But it's like, they think that they're not going to get sick. Okay, so you're not going to get sick. So do you care if you pass it, just because you can still get it, you can still pass it to people. It's really no discipline, just selfish. It's incredible. We could be done with all of this by now if there weren't still people walking around with that mindset. And, I can't imagine how that got started. But anyway.
Oh, Libby says, nice to know that stupid doesn't just exist here in Georgia. Well, no, you can always find stupid. It's very sad.
Anyway, we've been home. That's what we've been. We've been home.
Okay.
A tiny little pod of people, and I have not been able to whip my head around doing shows from my living room, hitting a button on a tape recorder. It's not what I do, I can't, it's not. And most of my piano player arrangement people are in New York or in Los Angeles. Nobody's traveling. So I haven't literally done a show of any kind in over a year. And that's the first time in my life, I can tell you, since I was, in my life, I think when I was 4, I wasn't doing them, but from the time I started performing, like at 15, I've been doing something, right? There's never been a 2-month period even where I'm just sitting around going, what am I going to do? It feels so strange to just not be working. I mean, I'm busy. I have a grandchild or 3, but.
Well, how have you filled your time?
Well, I have grandchildren, so there's been that.
I do.
I've been helping, as I said, with the whole COVID thing. I run the estate business for my parents, and there's a movie in production and a documentary in production, and there's licensing, and there's all of that I can do from my kitchen table. So, and I've been doing a lot of archiving in my garage and getting things accomplished, so there's that. I haven't been wasting the time at all. And my daughter, Kate, who Jimmy, she came down here to stay with us at the beginning of COVID, and ended up renting a house across the street and liked it so much that they bought a house about 25 minutes in Palm Desert. And so they live here now, and that's great. I miss my other son, Joe, who's in Connecticut, and they have a baby girl, and they're expecting another baby in a month. Jimmy is having a baby.
I didn't know that.
A boy. And so that'll be 3. And so that keeps me busy. And, we've got 5 kids in various states of unemployment and trying to help them get through this, right? Because they're all in businesses of some type of show.
Sure. Yeah. And I know one of your sons is an artist, a fine artist.
Yeah, he's the only one I don't worry about because he doesn't need anything but his paints and his canvas.
Yeah.
Very good artist. I love his stuff. And he sold a lot of his paintings a few years ago. He was down to just 1 or 2 that he hadn't sold. So he kind of stopped painting. And then he came back and started selling giclées. And now people are buying him again, and he's painting again. And he lives not too far from here as well. So
this is fantastic.
We've been each other's support. And I have great friends down here. But it's like we're, certain rooms like the Purple Room, Jimmy, it's the birdland of Palm Springs, of California. And we need to help it. We have to do what you did to save.
Oh my gosh. I mean, that, yes, you do. And do it for the venue, just put the GoFundMe together. Don't think about the Republicans that aren't going to help you.
No, we're doing it for sure. They're doing that and watching videos from people who've played there and things. There's no way that club can go out. Like we can't not have that club. It's
No,
been there.
it's legendary.
Decades.
It's legendary.
And first
Good.
of all, it's
Good.
the only one down here there's nothing like that. There's
I know.
nothing as classy as the Purple Room. Like, where can you go? There's several places in New York where you can have a lovely meal and it's a good club with great sound and great lighting and real Class A performers perform there. But in Palm Springs, there's not. I was going to say a handful. There isn't. There's this place, and then after
isn't that shocking? Because
that,
it
you're in
would seem
places
like
that are-
the perfect community to entertain.
Well, strangely enough,
Where is that rich gay man that has a big living room?
right?
Well, there's got to be a rich
But
gay
see,
man.
But we're in COVID. There's a million things we could be doing if it wasn't for that too. So it's like, geez, you can't win for losing. You know, you can't gather the large group of people. I can't even go to the Purple Room and do my show for free and invite everybody and charge lots of money or something like that. Have guest stars. Can't do it because you can't do it. Right now, there's a rule down here that you can't have more than one person on stage singing at once. So Billy Stritch could come into the Purple Room.
Julie Halston can do the Purple Room.
I could do the Purple Room.
And Hampton Calloway could do the Purple Room, right now.
Right.
But they could only have about 30 people in there. So how much you gonna make? You know?
Right. Well, you're not.
No.
But an online show.
Yeah.
And
So
let
we
us
have to
know.
do something.
I've never worked there, but you know, what a good time to
because
introduce myself.
It's not, you know, the Annenberg where you did your cast party is a mini theater. It's the McCallum is the Broadway theater. The Annenberg is like 400 and something, and the Purple Room is like 90 seats. It's perfect. It's just
think about it. We've had such success here in New York, and it's just been. Oh, Billy Stritch says he's ready. He's ready, Lucy.
All
right, now listen, I have questions for Lucy.
Okay.
Questions. Okay. Number one question is, I know you were raised in LA, but when you were like in middle school, didn't you live in New York City and go to a Catholic school?
Yes. My mother came to New York to do Wildcat. And we had to be transferred to a school in New York, St. Vincent Ferrer, and Catholic school nuns and all that jazz. And I remember it was so different. It was such a culture shock after going to a school in Brentwood, California with a lawn that was like, you know, the White House. And then we went when it was recess at St. Vincent Ferrers in New York on, I don't know, on the east side somewhere. I forget the street, you know, combinations. But they would just block off the street and you played in the street. Like between the cars and the dog poop. Because in those days there was dog poop. And I thought, are you kidding me? I mean, I was in like the third grade, but I was like, this is wrong.
It is wrong.
It can't be right.
No. Well, I went to Catholic grammar school, Christ the King, and we had the Dominican nuns, and literally these were the years that, you know, literally they would carry their keys in their hands, and if you misbehaved, they literally slap you across the face with the keys. Today they'd be arrested.
Yeah.
No, they'd be arrested.
It's only elementary school level nuns, because I went to Immaculate Heart School. Now I hear an echo.
Yes,
Ruby,
there's
what's
an echo?
all of a sudden there's an echo. Okay,
No,
it's gone.
now you said
It's gone. She fixed it.
Ruby, thank you. I went to Immaculate Heart High School in Hollywood, and it was all nuns as well, and they were unbelievably fabulous. Oh my God, it was a great school.
But they were Hollywood nuns.
They were Hollywood nuns. It was
Like Julie Andrews.
Yeah.
Audrey
the Flying
Hepburn.
Nun,
No, it was a great school.
Sally
It was a great
Fields.
And that school had a very good drama department.
The what?
That school had a very good drama department.
That's why I went there.
Yeah.
I wanted to pick a place that had a great drama department. And I had a girlfriend older than me by several years. And she said, I went there. This is the best drama department in Los Angeles. You have to go there. And they were right. She was right. They did. They used to review some of our shows in Variety and The Reporter.
Oh,
Okay, this
I
is a
swear
riot.
to you, they did. That's no
This is
joke.
a riot.
Yeah.
Now, you really did go to the Hollywood nuns. This is fantastic. But now let me ask you, because, you know, if anyone's watching and doesn't know who your parents are, well, that's just very sad.
I never really knew who they were.
Yeah. But you had these very famous parents, but was there anyone else in your life? Because, at some point, Lucy, you must have figured out, hey, I actually have a lot of talent on my own. I can really sing. I can really move. I can really act. Was there anyone else that said, hey, Lucy Arnaz, you could be doing this?
It's so funny that you put it that way, because that's never the way that happens. I mean, aren't you always the one going, I don't know if I can do this? No, I never had that moment where I went, hey, I got a lot of talent. I can do this. I tell you, I just liked performing, which is why I chose my high school. I used to put on plays in my backyard. Then I chose a high school that had, that. And then my mother saw me doing that and said, hey, I'm going through and I'm going to make a whole new show here. And maybe you could play my daughter on the show and da-da-da-da. And that's what I think everybody should do to get into the business. Ask your husband to put you on the show. Why don't you wait for people?
What was I thinking?
It's so hard for me. They don't think. They don't say, I just go to my mom and be on her show.
I should have been on Here's Pat.
That's right. Yeah. Wait, I think we have that poster of Here's Lucy. That was the show you and your brother.
And my brother, Desi, who was already a little bit of a star. He was already Dino, Desi, and Billy famous by that time. So he had a name for himself. I didn't. I had to learn the stripes there. I had to get them there. So that happened. And then I just wanted to do it. It was fun. I learned. It was a great schooling experience for me, work with all the people that she worked with. And then Vivian Vance, was guesting on our show, played Ethel Mertz on the original I Love Lucy show. And she guested on Mom's show a lot. And one year she reminded me that I had started out on the stage, and I picked my high school because of the stage. And she said, are you getting back? Are you going on the stage still? What do you do in the summer? What do you do when this is stopped? And I went, we went to Hawaii. We went to Mexico. And she goes, no, stop it. What do you, and encouraged me to start auditioning for summer stock, a regional theater. It's like, what? Oh, you can.
So that's the answer, Julie.
Yeah, that's my answer.
Vivian Vance.
That was Vivian Vance. I would, if it wasn't for her, I would have made a lot more money in television, but that's okay. I had no.
She wanted you out of the way.
Yeah.
No, it was great because I went back and that was it. I never really looked back. I did a couple of pieces of TV shows and a series that lasted here and there, within the 35, 50 years, whatever it was. But I really never wanted to do anything else but musicals let's just say I wanted to be on stage with a live audience, live music. And so that's musical comedies to me. That's concerts. That's everything that's me and the audience,
Well, and then
I have to say, Lucy, if variety shows were still a thing on television, that would have been such an incredible, and you certainly did a lot of them, but if that would have continued, I
would have loved that.
Could have done, I'll never forget a night at Birdland with you and Michelle Lee. It was the first time you played Birdland.
Yeah.
The two of you, it was completely unscripted. Well, there it is.
It's the funniest thing I've ever done, probably ever, especially unscripted. Yeah, I was kind of nervous because I thought, I don't know how this is going to go. But you can look it up on YouTube, y'all. Lucy Arnaz, Michelle Lee, Nobody Does It Like Me.
I have never laughed that hard.
It's almost as funny as you with the earphones. It's almost that funny.
Almost. No, but we've talked about this at Birdland, that was one of the biggest, longest laughs ever on that stage. You guys were magical. I haven't
started singing the song yet.
I know.
It was just stuff.
She was such a live wire, and you just went along with it, and it was like vaudeville. So I'm here to tell the world there is. Oh, hello.
YouTube it.
I told you I thought I fixed that, but it didn't get fixed.
YouTube it, everyone.
Yeah, YouTube it.
YouTube it.
But variety TV, I mean, the minute it comes back, you need to call somebody fast.
When I wanted to do variety, when I tried to push people into actually saying yes to a show like that, that was the time when everybody was going to go, oh, music? Oh, no, they'll turn the channel. People don't want music and singing and dancing. No. A minute and a half later, Rosie O'Donnell had her show, and they had music and the thing, and then it went American Idol and America's Got Talent, and you haven't heard it's never stopped ever since. It's funny.
Right.
But I do remember when you, in 1979, they're playing our song. I mean, it was so fantastic. And you and Robert Klein, there you are. Look at that. Ooh,
nice leg.
Look at how cute both of you are. Look at you.
Not to be inappropriate, but.
Not to be inappropriate. But I mean, it was such a sensation. You were so adorable. And then suddenly you're a Broadway star. Wasn't that your debut?
Yeah, that was the first Broadway show I did. Quite amazing. You get Marvin Hamlish and Neil Simon on your first time out. That was pretty great.
What was that like?
It was like being Cinderella at the ball. It was fantastic. It was genius, and it was hard. It was so good, really, that it was hard to find another one to follow it, because you did one and you weren't really a Broadway name yet, but you were sort of like the new thing in this show, and nothing came along after that for me. That there wasn't even a part. There wasn't anything. It's like I looked around and I used to tell people, you have to have whiskers or skates to be on Broadway now. It was like Starlight Express and Cats and this. And I ended up going out on the road with Larry, doing a lot of first national tours of Social Security and Whose Life Is It Anyway? And, because I couldn't find anything to go back to Broadway with. It took a while.
Then wasn't there, I think, Jim, you told me that it actually, the genesis of it was at Birdland. There was a 40th anniversary of their playing our song for the Actors Fund. But tell us the story, Jim.
Is that true? I know Manny Eisenberg was in your audience with Robert Klein that night at the Birdland Theater when you opened the theater. Right. I feel like the conversation started that night, or am I lying?
Well, it actually started with this phenomenal human being named Robert Greenblatt, who ran NBC for a long time, and he was saying, I can't believe, it's been all these years, they're playing our song. This was here in Palm Springs. And he said, what are you going to do for the 40th anniversary? And I said, I haven't heard anybody's doing anything. I'm actually going to Key West to appear with Randy Roberts on stage. That's what I'm doing that night. Yeah. And he said, no, that's crazy. We should do something. So he single-handedly produced an evening of their playing our song, 40th anniversary, original cast, 22-piece orchestra at the Music Box Theater. And we wanted to do it. But of course, I had to get Robert Klein's permission. I wanted him to say, yes, I'll do it with you, because I'm not going to do it without him, right? It has to be the original cast, or it's
right.
And so I called him, and he said no. He said no. What do I want to know? I don't waste my time. No, I got work. This is before COVID. He was like, there's a lot of work out there for me. Are they paying us? No. He was just being Bob, And so I just went, geez, okay, we're not going to do it.
Wow.
I was so disappointed. And I had already left him tickets to come to the show, because I knew the show was happening, and I had invited him and Manny. So that night, I told Robert Greenblatt, I said, we're not going to be able to do this because Bob doesn't want to do it. So, okay. He said, wow, really? You want me to call him? No, don't bother. So that night at the show, I tell the story, as I always do, about they're playing our song, and I sing they're playing our song. And then I said, can you believe it'll be 40 years in February. It was just coming up to that. And and so I introduced Robert Klein in the audience, and he got up, gave me a hug, and he said, we should do like a 40th anniversary thing.
Oh, I'd kill him. There the two of you are. Look at the two of you.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd kill him. So
I wanted to give him like a little backhanded something, but I was so happy that he was saying yes that I went, that's a great idea, Paul. And we did it because he suddenly decided it might be fun.
Wow.
And it was fun, and he was phenomenal.
I think we have a picture of the 40th because I know Debbie Gravitt, who was on our show. There you are. There she is.
There she is.
Yes. Oh, she's so delightful. Look at the three of you.
Fun. It was really fun.
So great. So you did it, and it was for the Actors Fund, correct?
Yep, and raised all kinds of money for the Actors Fund. It was completely sold out. We could have done 2 or 3 nights, but we only had the Music Box for one night. My arranger, composer, piano player, longtime musical director Ron Abel played piano. I'm hearing that echo again, Rube.
Julie, turn your mic down just a little bit.
Hold on.
Oh, here we go.
You know me. I can't move my Yeti.
It's so funny that it comes in and out. I'm like, we don't touch it.
All right, I'm turning the volume down. Can you hear me now?
Okay.
I can.
Right. Okay, good. I turned the volume down.
Perfect.
No, the screws of my Yeti, Lucy, get very tight. And I'm constantly telling Jim, I can't move the screws of my Yeti. And he just loves it when I say that.
I thought that was something that had to do with osteoporosis.
That's correct.
And there's a pill you take once a month. Ask Sally Field. Very helpful.
You're killing us. You're killing us. I know you did my one and only with the great Tommy Tune. You did the international tour. Like you took, there you are. Look at you.
Look, you did all your research and you have posters and
oh, darling, I do much research. Hours of my time. And I have to tell you, Lucy, there is so much on the internet about you. I did find it a little daunting. It's like, when you're in the presence of a legend, when you go to like the Wikipedia page and you run out of printer cartridge.
Oh,
that's when you're like, okay, there's too much on. No, I ran out of printer cartridge.
Tommy Tune and I met back when I was doing the Dean Martin show, like in the 60s. He was choreographing. And then we did the first national tour of Seesaw together for Michael Bennett. And he taught me how to tap. He really did, like totally taught me how to tap. And we did Mac and Mabel together. And it's the brand new reboot of Mac and Mabel that Jerry Herman wanted to do down in Florida. We did that together. And then years later, we did My One and Only together. So we've worked together a lot. And he's one of my closest friends on the planet.
Oh, that's
you guys are perfect together. Just visually, it's like, how Fred and Ginger fit together. You and Tommy fit together. It's just visually such a delight.
I know. He's a joy to work with. He always he's a joy, period. That's what can I say. So,
did you have to learn quickly? I mean, did you have to learn it quickly or did you have?
Yes, because My One and Only, because I went into My One and Only after Sandy Duncan had finished her tour in it. Tommy had asked me to do it after Twiggy and he did it on Broadway, but I was pregnant with Kate at the time. And so Sandy stepped in. Sandy did it through like all the international tour. And then he was going to do the national tour. And I remember he called me at my home in Katona and he said, "Are you done yet? Like, you done with this? Having kids and are you going to do it again? What's wrong with you?" And I said,
yeah. 9 months. Is that 9 months over thing? Yeah.
And then he asked me to go into the show. And I said, "Oh, geez, Tommy, it's like, she's only like 6 weeks old. I mean, I just had this kid." And I said, "I'm not sure if I can, first of all, I can tap a little, but the show is completely tap dancing." And he said, No, don't worry about that. You'll learn all that. Just work on your stamina." And I thought, that's interesting. But he was so right, because you can learn the shuffle, step, up. But there's so much of it. And I've just had a baby and we opened in Denver. So, you would go backstage and they put oxygen on your face because we were 10,000 feet up, And I used to swim across the lake that summer, try to get all the way across the lake and back so that I could work on my stamina. But
oh my God, Lucy.
9 months of my life with him on that show. Oh, I love that show.
Fantastic. And the two of you, like Jim was saying, I mean, just perfect. I mean, you just look like two dreams, just two dreams. And then I saw this picture of you in Pippin, and I had to give it to Ruby. I mean, hello?
Yeah. How about the one upside down on the trapeze? Maybe find one of those suckers.
But I want to talk about your arms.
Well, that's because I was training and on the trapeze, all that for the 3 weeks before that picture was taken. I mean, they put you through incredible amounts of workouts before they even put you on the bars and take you way up into the sky to do your dance thing. Just the bars alone and the arm exercises. And I swore that I was going to keep that up even when I finished flipping. Like, I'm going to do all of these. I never want that arm to leave. And it hasn't, but I'm never wearing short sleeves again.
You look 35. You look 35. And that doesn't look like a big, super filtered picture. No,
it's not. It's not. And I'm all aged up to look like a grandma, right? That's me as a grandma. Now I got regular without the wig. I wouldn't even need the wig. Sorry about the dinging. I guess I don't know how to turn this off.
I like it. It kind of clears my sinuses a little bit.
When it doesn't everybody should just go.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're pretty dingy anyway. We're pretty dingy.
Tinkerbell. It's Tinkerbell.
Yeah. But just if I can, I just want to remind people that Lucy Arnaz is our guest. We're having a blast. She's keeping us laughing. And if you can see to it in your hearts and your purse to give a small donation or a large donation to, what is it, Julie-Halston via Venmo or PayPal, that would be lovely. So, and here we are, keep talking to Lucy Arnaz. Now, at some point, you decided to, with Larry, do this documentary about your parents, and you win an Emmy for it. How did that all come about?
Well, I was dealing with my mother's death and going through all her things, if you've ever had to deal with that. And she was no normal person with things. So it took a lot longer to sort through what you want to keep and what you want to throw away. And she had lots and lots of 16 millimeter home movie tapes, which I used to see some of them growing up, primarily though the ones that we were in, little Desi and I were like, oh, well, she'll show the kids the home movies, right? But there was a whole other slew of them that I forgot were even there because she never showed them to us because we weren't in them. So she thought we wouldn't care. And we probably wouldn't have. But after she passed away, we took all those 16 millimeters and had them transferred to watchable. Like in those days, it was a VHS. And I started watching them and realized, God, there's so many wonderful people that are still around, the Ann Millers and the Van Johnsons and all the people who worked with them and grew up with them. And somebody should put them on tape and get their memories of these people, because also CBS at the time had done a very kind of trashy tabloid, spit it out in a hurry piece called Before the Laughter, which was just awful. And it was, I don't even know why they wanted to do that so quickly and so badly. But it left a bad taste in my mouth, and I thought, these are the people that should tell the story. So I just took it upon myself to call them up and start interviewing them. I put them on tape, and 3 years of my life and too much money later, I thought, what am I going to do with all this? Am I going to stop, or what am I? And then I thought, well, maybe it's a TV special. Maybe it's a, documentary thing. First, it was just, I should, chronicle this. I should keep it, oral history. And that's what we did. We took it to NBC. Why NBC, you might ask?
Yeah.
Why?
Because of what CBS had done with that terrible film. So I took it to NBC, and they gave us Valentine's Day, 9 months from the moment I had the meeting, and said, go for it. Give me, the story of Lucy and Desi through, because I showed them 10 minutes of the interviews I had done. I showed them 10 minutes of our wonderful color silent home movies. And I showed them 10 minutes of some of the the scrapbooks and all the various other accoutrements that I would have to put in it. And Warren Littlefield, who was president then, said, you got it. You got Valentine's Day.
Oh,
hit it,
Perfect.
And we did. And I had never done anything like that before in my life. So I had to sort of learn it on the fly. But I stopped doing all the interviews at that moment. I said, okay, we're done with that. We only have 9 months. I got to edit and And we also moved back to New York at that time. So I was moving my family and everything. Then I got lost in Yonkers on Broadway.
Yes.
So I was editing this movie, commuting to the city, doing Lost in Yonkers, driving home at night, grabbing a bite to eat, and going up to my garage to roll through all of the film to write in and out points and so that I could give it the next day to my editor so that I could commute back to the city to do Lost in Yonkers. I mean, it was a crazy, and I had 3 children, 5 actually, with the 2 that used to come on the weekends and stuff. So that was a
And
crazy
you did
time.
not become a drug addict.
Who says? Where'd you hear that? No, I did not. It was hard to sleep. And what I actually did do was I ended up getting reflux laryngitis. I went into a play with Estelle Parsons right after that. And
Well, that's why you got laryngitis, darling.
actually, that's the truth. That's actually the truth, but I wasn't going to say that. But I also was staying up late and eating late, and going to bed while I'm eating still. And it was not a good time. But yes, it actually was because of the delightful and ever more interesting Estelle.
Oh, yes. That was the most diplomatic moment of
I love her. She's one of the finest actresses that ever set foot on the planet. And that's
She is. But as we all know, and I adore her as well, but, do not cross her.
After that was all over, the rehearsal period nearly killed me. The play I enjoyed doing with her, but the rehearsal, it almost killed me.
Yeah.
And somebody once said she's an aneurysm waiting to happen. And I thought, okay, that's about right. That's about right.
That's a great line.
Oh, man. I hope no one ever says that about me, but you never know.
Never will.
No.
Not anymore. Not now that you say that.
Yeah, right.
I'll stop saying it.
Let's think of something else now. Now we have to think of something else.
Now, wait, Lucy, was your brother also involved with the whole movie?
No,
he wasn't.
No, he was a little skeptical. Why do you want to do this? What are you going to do? I don't want to. He gave me a really hard time in the beginning. But then we sat him down for his interview, and he was very forthcoming, and he was a great interview. Interview.
Well, I think we have a picture of you with your Emmy, because you did win the Emmy.
I hardly take a picture without it. Oh, that's very nice.
Look at
how
beautiful.
I'm very proud. Very proud. Let's see if I can say, I'm going to go like this. How can I get it over? Oh, you can see it. There it is.
Okay.
See on my desk? It's on my desk.
Yes,
Okay.
I see it.
Oh, yeah.
Look,
see it. People at home, look, you're seeing an Emmy.
See, I have it on my desk in my kitchen.
Love it.
I love it.
You see it every day.
So I can look at it and remember.
I'm deeply shallow, as everyone who knows me knows. I don't think you've ever looked bad a day in your life.
Oh,
Jim, you've known her a long time. Has Lucy Arnaz ever looked bad?
No. I mean, it's like you can look at Lucy and see, a lot of people have good-looking parents.
Oh.
She had good-looking parents. But she just is this great combination of those two beautiful people.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's very kind.
You can't say you look like one or the other.
No.
It's just this. It's like
apparently I look like my father's mother. I don't know.
Oh, really?
All right. Well,
that's what people tell me. I don't think so,
but we wouldn't know.
I've never seen a bad picture of you.
No.
I don't know if you're curating your own publicity.
Michael Childers takes good pictures, and these wonderful phones, as you mentioned before.
Yes.
What did you say? Anybody can take a picture. Look, see, I took one of myself.
Yeah.
Oh, well, there you go.
That's great.
You said that, and so I went on and took a picture of myself to prove to you that they take good pictures on the phone.
They do.
Send me that. That's so cute.
I will.
Are you so excited to get back on stage again and singing with Ron at the piano and your band and just the juice of all that?
First number, don't you think? I'll cry.
I'm sorry?
When I get back, I think I'll cry through the whole first number.
Well, I mean, we did that series at Birdland with no audience and, just a piano player and singer, and everybody was socially distanced and we were so careful. But everybody started weeping as they walked into the room, because at that point, nobody had even been in a room with each other for months and months and months. So many, many people cried. So
it's hard to even. No, I was just going to say, it's hard to even launch into your normal, what used to be the opening patter. It's like you're all going to feel like you have to say, So where were we? But something, it's all going to be everybody saying weird things. But then I guess it'll just go back to normal, and it'll be nobody wants to keep saying it. Just go on with the show, as the man said.
As I was saying,
before we were so rudely interrupted.
But honestly,
typical of Jim, because I just do whatever Jim says after he browbeats me. He had me do my 50-minute comedy act for no one at Birdland. Do you remember this, Jim? Of course.
No.
And it was very emotional because the backstage in the Birdland Theater, it was very emotional because that is always, and Jim knows this, that's where my late husband always used to come and get me. Do you know what I mean? And he would say, "Hey, beautiful, you're almost done." And that was emotional because there I was suddenly backstage at the Birdland Theater, and he wasn't there. And then I thought, I'm going to do 50 minutes of comedy for no one. No
silence.
How'd you do that? How did you do
that? Lucy, it worked. And this is the killer. We did really well, didn't we, Jim? I mean, I had been doing the act for so long. I knew where the beats were. I knew where the pauses were. Yeah. And then I watched it that night with the fans and literally was looking at the screen with all the comments, and people were going, "This is my favorite story. I'm screaming with laughter. I'm crying." And I'm like, okay, this is crazy. But guess what? It was a success and it worked. So,
I heard somebody say something so interesting, though, about performing online. She's, a legendary jazz singer. And she said, I have the audience in my ears, in my head. I know what they laugh at. I know what they swoon over. Yeah. I am there with me at all times. They don't have to be in the room with me. And I thought that was so touching, if not slightly crazy. But just a lovely way to go about this. Like, we can't have them in the house right now, but they're in here.
Yeah. Well, when you rehearse a show, right? You rehearse your patter. If you're getting ready to open somewhere, Ron and I'll do the show. And I rehearse it and I look out like I'm really speaking to people, and and I wait for the jokes, right? And the laughs, and I sing, and yet when I know it's the real show, it feels weird when there's like, you don't know, did they applaud? Did they like it? Did they is there any feedback?
The hardest is the opening number, because you can be all ready and you go out and nobody's going to be there, but you sing that big opening song, and it's over and it's dead silence. God. That is a pain. Nobody should know.
We're living in the world of Harpo Marx and Marcel Marceau or something. It's like we're just finding new ways to hear and be and listen and do. But sometime whatever we've learned will come in handy.
Yes. Well, I was going to ask you, I mean, because you've done so many shows and so successfully. And like you said, you have these dates that are coming up, and I guess they've been pushed off for a year.
Twice.
Yeah. Twice.
Yeah.
How do you construct your act? Do you think of a theme, or is it that music that you love and then you build a theme around it, or how do you construct your acts?
Well, they're all a little different. The one that I'm doing now, the one I was doing, which I'll do again, it was a theme. It was, because I call it, I Got the Job, Songs from My Musical Past. And it's all about the musicals that I've done, which I've never told those stories. And I thought, Jesus, I've done a lot of stuff. I didn't realize how much stuff there's a lot of music here, and there's a lot of stories that go with them. So we put a show together strictly with that. And it's probably one of my favorite shows because it's so authentic to me. I mean, it is me.
Nobody else could do that show.
No.
Nobody else can do that show. Lucy said when she did this show, we could do it like that. But usually I started doing an Irving Berlin show in Palermo, Sicily, actually, in 1988. I was invited to go over there and put together 90 minutes of Irving Berlin. I've never done a nightclub show. This is a whole other story. I need another day to explain that to you. But
I was going to say, like, did somebody say, like, hey, we got to have that little girl over here?
That's part of my show. That's part of my shtick when I tell the
story.
Okay. Because I didn't have a nightclub act, but I always wanted to do one, and my managers and agents talked me out of it. They said, no, you don't. No, don't do that. There's no money in that. You'll never amortize what it costs you. Stop it. They were right, by the way. But they were right. But I still wanted to do it, right? And they no. And then I met Ron Abel doing a benefit, and I was working with him at the time. And he was just the guy who was, the music director for the benefit. And then I got a call from this guy in Palermo, Sicily, saying they honor a great American composer every year. It's a 4,000 seat outdoor amphitheater in Sicily. And would I come over there? And it was about a third of the money that my managers had told me it was going to cost me to put a nightclub act together. A nightclub act for like Vegas, that would be like 55 minutes long, and he wanted 90 minutes, and he's giving me a third of the money. But I was so intrigued by the idea that he was going to pay for it that I thought, I should just, as Liza would say yes. So I did. I said yes. And I went over there, and I had 90 minutes of Irving Berlin when I came back with this wonderful show. So I did it for a year. Going around now, suddenly I have a theme show when I'm doing this Irving Berlin show. Then it wasn't his 100th birthday anymore, which was why they were doing it that year. And so I put a little Gershwin in, a little Cy Coleman, and took this out. And then I just kept, messing with it. And my show was called An Evening with Lucy Arnaz, period. Whatever music I'm going to do is what I'm going to do. Then later on, like I've been doing this 30 years, concerts, stuff now. So later on, different clubs like Birdland, 54 Below or something would say, we loved your show and we want you to come back next year, but can you do a different show? So I thought, oh, okay. And then you had to sort of come up with something to sort of tell people it wasn't the show they saw last time, right? So
Yeah.
An Evening with Lucy Arnaz, I saw that. Even if you changed the music, they don't know you changed the music, right? So what happened in the old days where you went to see Sammy Davis Jr. and you just, whatever he sang was fine, Dean Martin, he's just going to sing. And so then I started coming up with Spring is Here, and different songs about love and whatnot. But this is a great show. I can't wait to get back and do it again. I mean, I was barely just getting it to the point where it kind of was fun and I didn't have to think about it anymore. Now I'm going to have to.
It's so good.
I have not been rehearsing. Let me just tell you, I'm not even going to think about it until I know 3 months in advance that there's actually
a gig. Absolutely. Well, Lucy, don't forget to talk about the great tribute you did to your dad's music. I love that show.
Talk about a theme. Yeah.
Talk about a theme.
That came about because I was doing an Ira Gershwin show at the 92nd Street Y, and Deborah Grace Wiener, who is the artistic director over there, she and I went to lunch, and she said, "Aren't these Ted Firth, all Ted Firth arrangements?" And we talking about how great the arrangements were, and oh my God, he's so fabulous. And she said, your dad was always a favorite of mine, and he had a great band. Those arrangements were fantastic. Whatever happened to his arrangements? And I said, funny you should say, because I inherited them, and they were in my house for 15 years. I used a couple of them in nightclub acts along the way, but then I eventually gave them to the Library of Congress. They'll store paper. Michael Feinstein said, you can give your stuff to the Library of Congress. So I did. And so she said, wouldn't it be great if we could do sort of an evening celebrating the Latin music craze in this country, seen through the eyes of the Desi Arnaz Orchestra? Well, it's so weird because the whole reason that I wanted to do a nightclub act was after my dad died. And I started listening to these cassettes of his in my car. And that's when I got the little bing in my head that said, I'd love to have a concert, be in front of a band with charts that good and do what he's doing. I just would love to do that someday. And I hadn't done a nightclub act at all. And I was doing musicals and TV and stuff. And that's right after that, about 6 months later is when I was given the benefit and met Ron Abel. And that week the guy called from Sicily. It's like, I always say, tell the universe what you want and be specific. If you want it enough, it happens somehow. It opens doors open for you, and you have to just be listening, watching, say yes. And so I did this incredible show of all my father's original charts, the original arrangements of the Desi Arnaz Orchestra. And with a 16-piece band, just like his, my brother and Papo Pepin played percussion. Raul Esparza was in it. He sang my dad's music. Valerie Pettiford was in it, sang, danced. We had 2 fantastic sort of Latin ballet, incredible dancers. And we did that show there for 3 sold-out nights, which is why Ron and I put together, while we were producing that show, we also produced my Latin Roots CD.
That show at 92nd Street Y was phenomenal. Billy Rich.
Thank you. And we made a Latin Roots CD that I could sell in the lobby. You know, I said, we'd be crazy. We've been talking about doing a Latin CD for a long time. We should do it. So simultaneously with producing that show, we produced this CD. And then we did the show in Florida for 3 or 4 performances. And then we took it to the Library of Congress and put it on tape. So it's there forever and ever and ever. But then I couldn't get those people to travel. Nobody, you know, they had Broadway shows and television shows, and Desi just wanted to go home to his family. So I combined both of them, my Latin Roots CD and the Babalu show, and took a lot of the numbers that Raul was doing and Valerie was doing, and Ron and I go out now and do a big band Latin Roots show.
Which is fantastic.
I get to do the Babalu number myself with the drum, which is insane. It's wonderful.
Fantastic.
The best.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
It's very good. I love it. I love it.
Well, talk about a meta situation. I had forgotten about this, and then of course I saw.
Wait, I'm sorry. While you're talking, I have to go. My oven is beeping. The roast needs to be turned down. Can you just talk?
This is a first.
Julie, are you having a good time?
I'm having the time of my life, and this is the first time that a guest has said the oven is beeping.
Right,
and
or
I have to,
a roast.
for
People
a roast.
cook.
Wait, a
People
roast
don't cook in New York.
in Palm Springs.
Huh?
A roast in Palm Springs.
I know.
And I can do that too.
Oh,
Julie, everybody's enjoying this show. I wanted to pop on just in case we needed more filler while the roast was being turned. But everybody's enjoying this show. Specifically, though, multiple people have said that they can't stop staring at Lucy's necklace and they need to know what's the story.
Oh, thank you for popping on, Ruby.
Little tiny coral beads, which I purchased at some wonderful store somewhere. I can't even remember now. It was so long ago.
Oh,
thank you.
Beautiful.
I like it against the chocolate brown. It has a nice kind of.
Yes, it's
So
beautiful.
Thank you for saying that. Save the roast.
Save the roast. All right. So wait, I wanted to ask. Boy, this is a riot. I love that people are asking about.
Oh, now people are hungry. They're on their way over. Lucy.
Now we're gonna have to talk recipe, right?
Yeah, I'm hungry. Mark Rubin said, when you did the Factory Boss on the Will and Grace show, that was so meta. I mean, hello.
Oh God.
There's Sean Hayes as your mom.
Yeah.
And Deb. I mean, I mean, that must have been wild for you.
It was. Well, that was very sweet that they've been huge fans of the original I Lucy show for a long time. And it's no secret, Deborah just loves that character and everything. And so it was, their last season. And they wanted to do something special to honor it. And Robert Greenblatt called me and said, I'm not associated with the show anymore, but I created it and put it back on the air and all that stuff. And I think it would be really fun if you would allow us to do this thing about I Love Lucy. So we gave them permission to do what they did and combine the black and white and the thing and then the producers came to me and said, would you want to do a little tiny cameo in the show somewhere? And I went, I don't think that's necessary. And he said, well, we were thinking the lady in the chocolate factory. I went, okay. Because how much fun is that? I mean, come on.
Oh my God. That
Factory
is license
Boss.
to kill.
It was fun. It was really a fun time.
And you got to work with my crush. I only worked with him once doing the class for CBS, Jimmy Burrows.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, that group is pretty self-starting now after all these years. Jimmy watches the cameras mostly, and especially on that show, because they were trying to, it was amazing what they did. They watched the original shows. He had a camera in front of him here with the original scene, and then he wanted his camera people to make sure they got the exact same setup Like it should be framed exactly the same way. It should be exactly the same distance as far as the zoom in. And he wanted to really, truly recreate it. So it was fascinating to watch him do that. And
That's so fun.
but
Oh
yeah,
my gosh.
he's tremendous.
Julie, we have a question from a viewer.
Oh,
What?
yes.
Oh,
Someone I
Ruby,
know.
bring that on up.
Thanks.
Lucy, what it's like to be the daughter of famous parents. Do you get annoyed when people ask you about that? As you're
Well, I
now
hope
being
not,
asked.
because you're asking about it.
Right.
There's no answer to that. So that's why it's an impossible thing to answer. The answer that has served me best all these years is, and it started, as you can imagine, in the 60s. I used to say, well, I don't know, Tricia Nixon could answer what it's like to be the daughter of Nixon, because she wasn't always the daughter of the president of the United States. And now she could talk to how it's changed, right? But I don't know. I've always just been in that family, and we do what we do. I don't know what it feels like not to be me. So it can be frustrating. It can be insanely exciting and adventurous. It's always very proud making. I mean, I always think, God, how lucky I am that I am related to someone that famous that didn't kill anybody, like it's not a serial killer. It's not Hitler. It's not, I'm related to Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. That's nice.
Lucy
And,
Hitler.
Yeah,
Doesn't have a ring.
It wouldn't have been the same. And,
No.
and you don't get the perks. You should see the table you get at the restaurant when you give your name. The Hitler party of 4.
I have a
Really?
story about that I'll tell you
Where are we
later.
Oh, really?
I'll tell you about that later.
Okay.
With a mutual friend of ours who you know very well.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yes. The Hitler party. The Hitler party for 4.
I want to hear
It's like
the lady call
keep
it
it
out.
down.
When your table's ready. The Hitler party 4, please, to the garden.
Is Ava Braun with you, Tom?
Oh yeah, there'll be a 5th.
Oh yeah.
Now wait, there is going to be, it's my final question for you.
No.
Is there going to be, there is a film that's being made with Nicole Kidman and Javier Bardem, and there was a lot of chatter on the internet about this.
Oh, people are so there. They just feel like they own this show, and they own my parents, and they have to have their say. They have their very loving fans, and they have to get their 2 cents in.
Yeah.
But what I was trying to explain to the lovely folks is that it's not a reboot of I Love Lucy. We're not remaking I Love Lucy. So these people are not playing Lucy Ricardo and Ricky Ricardo and Ethel and Fred Mertz. They're playing Lucille Ball, Desi Arnaz, Vivian Vance, William Frawley. The great Aaron Sorkin has written this script. So we say nothing bad about it.
Right.
It's brilliant. And he has chosen to set it on 1 week of filming. I mean, you have to set a movie somewhere, right? It's in the South. It's in New York, in a basement, whoever it is. It's set on 1 week of filming of the show, sort of 1953 or 54. And it's a generic kind of show that they're rehearsing. It's not one of the big memorable Vitamin Benjamins or anything like that. And it's more about just how they all relate to one another, and my mother and my father, and some of the crazy stuff that was going on in their life right then. It's supposed to be an exploration of their relationship, their personalities, and what was great and amazing about them, but also a little tiny look-see into maybe why they didn't stay together. I wanted it to be a 7 or 8 part series, on HBO or something, Netflix.
Right.
And that's what we set out to do. But Aaron with Amazon Studios made the decision that it should be a 2-hour feature. And so it is what it is. It's not the whole biopic, right? It's not the whole 9 yards. It is a moment in time of these people in that situation, dealing with what they had to deal with during some very stressful stuff that was happening in that period of their lives. And I think it's going to be great. I know Nicole is going to surprise everybody. She's going to be sensational. And Javier Bardem is one of the finest actors walking on the face of the earth. And nobody was hired as lookalikes. None of them actually look a lot like her. But they have an aura and an essence. Javier's real personality is so much like my dad. He's charming. He has the dimples. He's musical. He's very sexy, playful.
Yes.
And he only gets to play these sort of bad guys a lot on the screen, you know, and you don't know that there's that other. And he really doesn't look like my dad. I mean, if you photograph him on profile, you'll go, oh, that's not Desi. So I'm going to tell them, only photograph him from here. But Nicole is wonderful and sweet and smart and has class and stature and elegance that my mom
And that
had.
neck.
And a
Great
neck.
neck.
And a neck.
And the
And
neck.
also, she's an actress, people. All the people
Yeah.
were saying,
Right.
she's Australian. She has an accent.
Right. Right.
So did Kate Blanchett. She was Australian too. And it was Kate originally, but you know, that was 6 years ago. And Kate got tired of waiting. You know, took a long time to get this to happen. So I'm very excited about it. They started shooting today.
Oh my gosh.
Today.
Now, Lucy, when you read a script like that, did he just hand you the script and say, what do you think? Or how did that come to you?
Well, it came from the producers who came to us and asked if they could even tell this story. Could they attempt to tell this story? So we were in from the ground floor, and then we talked about who would play my mother, and we talked about Kate Blanchett, and Kate agreed almost immediately, and she was on board. And then we talked about who could possibly write it, and the first choice was Aaron Sorkin, and I met with him, and we had a great lunch. And soon after that, he signed on. And then he thought for a very long time, how's he going to write it? What's he going to do? And I actually didn't read the script because that all happened. The original stuff, like meeting Kate, was when I was in Pippin. I was rehearsing Pippin. So it was 2014. And I didn't get the script from him until I was in rehearsal for the 40th anniversary of their playing our song. I got it sent to me while I was in New York that week. And because they do that now, it's on email. Did you know that? You didn't have
Yeah,
you can just read it. It's amazing. And they sent it to me, and that's the first time I read what he planned to write. And I was really very emotional after I finished reading it.
Well, that's my question. I mean,
Yeah.
do you learn something about your parents that you didn't know by reading his take on them?
I knew everything that he wrote about, but a lot of people will learn things about them that they didn't know. And I was just happy that he got them right. He got her the smarts and the humor and the love, the passion, the tempestuousness, all of that. He got it right. You know, we had to work a little bit on to get all the rest of the details of the era and the way they shot their show and what the writers were like and their relationship and where the conflict was and where it wasn't and all of that. But it was a terrific script, I have to say. I was like, oh, thank God. Yeah. So
I can't wait. I just can't wait. I think it's going to be.
Now he's also going to direct it.
Oh, man.
We'll see how, I'm very excited. Here we go.
Here we go. Well, I want to go on record as saying, I want to do a play with Lucy Arnaz.
Oh, wouldn't that
I want to do a play with you.
Why couldn't we?
I think we have to think about this.
Gin game.
The gin game. The gin game. Play both parts. Play gin game with two girls. Why not?
Yeah. I mean, come on.
What I found out about this business in my 51 and a half years in it or whatever it is that what you want to do, you have to just tell the universe what you want and be specific and make it happen. You got to say, I want to do this, and you go out and find it. Because if you wait for it to come,
No, well, I learned that from Jim Caruso.
Yeah, but it's true.
No, it's true. And also, I remember, Jim, you remember my late husband, Ralph Howard. I mean, Ralph was always like that. He was always, he was an anchor man, but then he was like, well, I'm going to do an entertainment show. So they gave him an entertainment show. He didn't ask, but he just said, I'm doing it.
People don't know what they want until you tell them sometimes.
That's right. You just tell them.
That's right.
And, and he was the one who said, well, you're really funny. You just better write an act. And I was like, oh, really, Ralph? Thank you. I'll do that. But, write an act. So, that's what you do.
Put it out there.
What do you got to lose if you
Julie
don't
and
do
Lucy.
it? You have to not be afraid to fail.
That's right. Julie and Lucy, I'll figure something out. I'll talk. I'm gonna think about it.
Well, it'll have to be something like IE. It's the two IEs,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
That's right. And think about the Julie Andrews and Carol Burnett specials and the two funny, hilarious
God
musical theater gals.
I had a friend who
You'll
used
sing
to say,
all the numbers and I'll mouth the words.
Sean Moniger, David Friedman and Sean Moniger, Sean
Yes.
always says, God gave you the idea, he must want you to do it. So Julie, I am assigning this to you. Here we go, you're in charge. Jimmy, you can sort of be the co-producer,
I'll usher.
engineer award.
Okay.
And we'll do it.
We need Ruby.
But first I have to redo all these other dates that I canceled and rescheduled.
Okay.
That's right.
All right. But
Well,
you know,
all of
really,
you folks at home, write in your ideas. If you have any thoughts about this great idea, let us know.
and here's the thing, Lucy, we could always do something together at like the Catalina. Is the Catalina still around? We could do
What
something.
time is it? Yeah.
What-
We'll see.
Or
Is anything
I'll come
still
to
around?
Palm Springs. I'll come to Palm Springs.
Yeah.
Perfect.
We'll
Yeah.
work it out. Michelle Lee's going to be pissed, but it's okay.
Oh, well, you know what? I know Michelle.
Don't piss her off.
No, you don't
No.
want to piss Michelle Lee off. You really don't.
Never. That's never good.
Yeah, no. All right, I'll be the special guest. You two can be together. Anyway, this was fantastic.
I
Wasn't
mean,
it
we have to
fun?
stop. Can't we just be here? You can stay for the roast. I have plenty.
Are there potatoes?
I'm not making potatoes. We're on a keto diet
Oh, good. for you.
Oh, okay.
because
No,
COVID has been so kind to my waistline.
Well, everyone's got the COVID-19.
The 19 pounds. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
This
the way.
was fabulous. Wasn't this great, Jim? I mean,
I loved it. I knew it would be great.
you,
Lucy's the best.
It was
you
really
really are.
fun. It was
we
really
can't
fun
wait to see you on stage again, and we want to see you in New York.
I'll be there. I've got dates to do.
All right.
Yay!
I gotta
Yay.
make up one someplace else at that other place, Jimmy. I can't remember the name of that other
Is that still open?
place. Not right now.
Whatever.
Not right now.
I owe them a
Billy's
date.
ready
and
for the
then I'll
roast.
come to you.
We're all ready for the roast. Lucy, we'll say it. We love Lucy Arnaz. You've been so fantastic, and thank you. Much love to Larry.
I'll miss you,
And-
all of you in New York and the rest of the world. I'll be back soon. Please come when I'm there, please.
Absolutely, we definitely will. And next week, I just want to tell our viewers we have Ed Hibbard and Harriet Harris.
Woo!
So yeah, that's going to be a fun show as well. So
fun.
thank you, darling. Mwah.
Love you both. Stay safe.
Bye.
Bye.
What more is there to say?